And the body has two modes. You're either always storing at times or you're using energy at times. And this all depends not on the calories that you're eating, not on the macros that you're consuming, but the nervous system state that you are in. Are you ready to bring your dream body and health into life, but just can't seem to keep the motivation going? And is it finally time to address the self-sabotage and the unwanted eating behaviors, such as binge eating, emotional eating, and nighttime eating that are getting in the way of your goals? Do you ever wonder what it would take for you to feel in control of your rituals so that you can stay consistent and see results? Welcome to this week's special Make Peace with Food Minisode on the Fall in Love with Fitness podcast, where you'll learn how to overcome unwanted eating behavior and other self-sabotaging habits by shifting your nervous system so that your body works with you instead of against you. I'm your host, Sherry Shaban, and with each episode, I am honored to be your coach and guide in the journey to make peace with food and find food and body freedom so that struggle with weight is a thing of the past. When you tune in every Thursday on the Fall in Love with Fitness podcast, you'll catch the latest conversation on unwanted eating behaviors and how you shift your nervous system, rewire the brain to new patterns, and end the food and body obsession so you finally feel relaxed and no longer confused around food. Now, I want you to stick around if you're tired of dieting and food restrictions that never seem to stick. You experience anxiety and overwhelm when it comes to food, what to eat, and when to eat it. You feel so confused about what you're supposed to eat. You're ready to end the food obsession and constant worry about weight, which never seems to help anyway. You want to learn how to eat to release weight for good without dieting. Now, before we begin, I want to quickly invite you to grab a free copy of my Food Freedom ebook I have for you at makepeacewithfood.com. And if you find that this conversation resonates with you today, then maybe consider sharing it with someone you know who may need to hear it too. And if you feel called, then I also want to invite you to join our free Make Peace with Food Facebook community at myfoodfreedomlifestyle.com. Again, that's myfoodfreedomlifestyle.com, where you can connect with me and my team directly. All the links are in the show notes. Okay, one super quick thing that I want to share with you before we begin. I'm about to be super vulnerable here, and I'm going to share with you something that you probably don't know about me. When I was running CrossFit gyms 10 years ago, it was also the time in my life where I was struggling desperately with food. On the outside, by the way, you would never know it. It looked like I knew a whole lot on nutrition and health, and I was interviewed on radio and on TV all the time about it. But on the inside, I was secretly confused, anxious, and feeling guilty all the time about food. All the time. I remember this one visit to Toronto to see my brother, and we were doing the usual rundown of the list of foods that Sherry eats and doesn't eat this time. And sometimes that good list included carbs and grains, and sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it included fats and legumes, and other times it didn't. And sometimes it included animal protein, other times it didn't. The list was always changing. So were my food rules. So was the good and bad food list. And that's the first time my brother pointed it out to me. Sherry, I've never known anyone so obsessed with food. Oh my God, it struck me like a ton of bricks. He was right. I had developed a disordered relationship with food, and all in the name of health and fitness. Here's how it used to look. Monday to Friday, I would meal prep, eat super clean, depending on that week's food rules, of course. But then come Friday, what would first begin as a cheat meal would turn into a full-on annihilation until I felt sick to my stomach. And one thing I'm going to tell you about the health and food industry after 25 years of working in it, besides it being a $103 billion industry, by the way, is that they lead us to believe that the solution to our eating and weight loss struggles is somehow out there. And we just have to find it, because if we're able to find it, we'll finally solve all of our problems. practically overnight. And that's the biggest lie we've ever been fed, pun intended. Because the true reason behind your struggle with weight and binge eating or emotional eating or even nighttime snacking is your nervous system, not your discipline or knowledge of nutrition, and not even the food itself. What I've learned personally from my struggles with binge eating and how I've helped thousands of people transform their bodies into fat burning machines without dieting and over exercising is that your body is always in one of two modes. It's either fat burning or fat storing. It's either in usage or storage mode, essentially. And all of this has to do with one main thing, your nervous system, which affects your cravings, your emotions, your appetite, your hormones, your metabolism, your gut health, what to do with the food you eat, and even self-sabotage. Which is why, even though you know what to do, you can't if your nervous system is locked into what I call protection mode. If you've been struggling with weight and eating behavior despite your efforts, it's not your fault. It's because you're in protection mode. When you understand how the nervous system works to either get you to store body fat or release it, your diet is no longer about balancing calories in and calories out, but instead, it's about regulating your nervous system. So you get relaxed around food, you abolish the cravings, and then sit back and watch the weight practically release itself. By shifting your focus away from what you're eating and onto how your body is feeling, you get your life back and your health back. And I'm going to be teaching you all about this on January 27 to 31 during a 5-day masterclass I'll be giving, and it's called Rapid Release, the 4 techniques for permanent fat loss and food freedom. And after this week together, you're going to understand how your nervous system has been affecting your cravings, your hormones, your gut health, and even your metabolism. And more importantly, you'll be walking away with how to start shifting it right away so you abolish the cravings, you feel relaxed around food, and you begin to see your body and health transform. It's completely free to join, and you can register at sherryshaban.com/rapid release. Again, that's sherryshaban.com/rapid release. And just in case you may be wondering, well, Sherry, now that you're anti-diet, how has it been going? Well, I don't count calories, weigh out my foods, or track macros. I don't overthink my food anymore or obsess about protein. My social events and relationships are way more relaxed and enjoyable. I make pizza from scratch every Friday night, and I've chilled out a whole lot on my intense training sessions. I'm also, by the way, arresting 15.4% body fat. And so as you prepare this new year, I want to invite you to re-examine your goals. If you've set up major New Year weight loss and diet goals, maybe this year you can open yourself up to a new approach. Instead of tracking how much you're eating, shift your focus onto how your body's responding to the foods you're eating, how it's affecting your energy, your appetite, your cravings, your mood, your sleep, your poop, and your emotions. And then begin your fine-tuning from there. Again, if this resonated with you today, I want to invite you to join me on January 27 for the Rapid Release Masterclass, where you'll learn the 4 techniques for permanent fat loss and food freedom. Registration is completely free, and go ahead and register today so that you don't forget. And then you can mark it on your calendar as well and follow that link to sherryshaban.com/rapid release. Again, sherryshaban.com/rapid release. You're going to find that link in the show notes as well. Now remember, if diets actually worked in the long run, why would we need to keep dieting? All right, now let's get into it. Now, this conversation is really, really important because if you followed my journey, if you've been listening on the podcast, then you know that I talk a lot about how the nervous system is what decides your hormones. It's also what decides the speed of your metabolism, and it's also what decides the condition of your gut. So that means you're either digesting and breaking down foods and oxidizing fats, or you are in storage mode. And the body has two modes. You're either always storing at times, or you're using energy at times. And this all depends not on the calories that you're eating, not on the macros that you're consuming, but the nervous system state that you are in. And this always comes as such a huge surprise for anyone who's been struggling for a really long time to either release weight or to stay at a stable weight or to even feel centered around food. Now, I'm going to share with you my personal journey. Some of you may already know my story and how I personally struggled with my relationship with food also when I was running gyms and really super heavily into nutrition, and how I've also helped thousands of people become anti-diet, become more intuitive, and more importantly, do that not through white knuckling through the week and not through any rebound weight gain. Because if you are currently struggling to find your center, to feel relaxed around food, and this whole concept around weight and food and what to eat and how much to exercise has just been this daunting thing for you, I guarantee 100% that you are locked into protection mode. And if that's the case, and if this message has been resonating with you, then don't forget to join me on Monday. This is going to be a 5-day free masterclass. We're going to walk through some techniques to help you regulate your nervous system, to help you shift from what I call protection mode to safety mode, where you go from being a fat storer to a fat burner. This is not going to be talking about calories. We're not going to be talking about macros. We're not going to be talking about what to eat and how much of it to eat. We're going to get into an intuitive place where your body already knows how to do that. Instead, what we will be talking about is why you got to this place and then how to get out of it so that your body feels relaxed. Anytime your body is storing calories, as in storing body fat, and you're noticing that you are binge eating or emotional eating or nighttime snacking, feeling very out of center around food, feeling very out of integrity with the things that you said that you're going to do, and finding yourself self-sabotaging, this is all coming from the nervous system. And the only way out is not through cutting calories or going in a calorie deficit or on another diet. It's going to be through regulating your nervous system. And every time I share this conversation, it blows people away because it's like, that's what I've been doing. That's why it's not working. And more importantly, it's not me, because truly it's not you and it's not your fault. You have been given misinformation. You've been misguided around how the body works. And the body does not count calories, the body counts nutrients, and the body has to feel safe. The nervous system has to be in a safe mode for it to start releasing weight. You get back your energy, exercise starts to feel fun. Playing with your nutrition, figuring out what works best for you feels very intuitive, and you literally sit back and watch the weight release itself. And that's what happens every single time. So I want you to start this journey with me. Join me on Monday. I'm going to add the link right here in the comments. And I want you to take a moment and really start to just be prepared to walk away from this whole dieting and counting calories and even stepping on the scale to feel that sense of validation. I want you to start to prepare yourself for a brand new journey, for a brand new approach around health and fitness, and a way that really feels relaxed and comfortable, because very soon you're going to get your life back. And it's not going to be about dieting anymore. It's not going to be about how much you weigh anymore or how uncomfortable going clothes shopping is going to be. It is actually going to become so exciting to be focusing on all the things that light you up, to really step into your purpose and to spend your time with the people that you love, doing the things that you love to do. One more thing before you go. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while and you're aligning with the message, then I want to personally invite you to join me in Costa Rica next May 24 to 31 for Transformation in Paradise Empyrean Retreat. And this is all happening at the Blue Osa in Costa Rica. And this is guaranteed to be the most transformative week of your life. This is going to be a small group experience with exclusive access to the entire Blue Osa resort. So imagine waking to the sound of the Costa Rican rainforest musical every morning, starting your day with a yoga practice overlooking the Pacific Ocean, joined in with howler monkeys, daily walks on a private beach that goes on for miles, macaws flying overhead all the time, spa treatments at a 5-star resort, and the best farm-to-table food ever, right from the Blue Osa farm itself. Now, this retreat is specifically designed to reset your nervous system. And when you reset your nervous system, you stop the patterns of self-sabotage and overwhelm. You reignite your motivation. You release any addictive habits and you open yourself to the health, relationships, and financial abundance that you deserve. Intrigued yet? Curious? Let's book a call to find out if this retreat is the right fit for you. Just head on over to sherryshaban.com/retreats. And on that page, you're going to find a place where you can book a time with me there. Plus, if you rate and review this podcast, giving me a 5-star rating on iTunes, and then taking just a moment to send the screenshot to sherry@sherryshaban.com so I know who you are, you're going to receive the voucher to join me as early bird. And you're going to get $400 off to join. So remember, this group is small and the spots are limited. So let's find out if Empyrean is right for you. Thanks for listening to this week's Make Peace with Food Minisode on the Fall in Love with Fitness podcast. If this has resonated with you today, I want to invite you to subscribe to the show so you never miss a beat. And if you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, then please share this episode with them too. Let's work together to help as many people as possible make peace with food and fall in love with fitness. And by the way, if you rate and review this podcast on iTunes or on Spotify and send over the screenshot to sherry@sherryshaban.com so I know who you are, you'll be gifted instant access to my 6-week habit challenge. Don't forget also to visit myfoodfreedomlifestyle.com to join the free Facebook group for more resources. And remember, you are an inspiration. I can't wait to hear your story. See you next time.